course, is the 19th day of the month of Kislev, the Yotzet of the Maggid of Maseches, and the Chag Geula of Rishon Zalman of Liadi, the Alter Rebbe, and we are in the midst of a sugya on Tav Ayin Beis Amud Beis, continuing on from the conversation that the Mishnah was having between Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Yeshua with regards to shechting a korban sheloi lishmai. Says the Mishnah as follows. We are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines from the top of Ayin Beis Amud Aleph. With the Gemara for the next 3 lines is going to quote what we said in the Mishnah. The Mishnah told us, "Shar kol hazvachim sheshachtam l'shum Pesach." All other korbanos that you shechted as a korban Pesach, meaning it wasn't supposed to be a korban Pesach, it was already dedicated to be something else. You shechted as a korban Pesach. Im einam ru'uyin. If it's not roy, meaning it could never have been a korban Pesach, chayev. In that case, you'd be chayev. Ve'im ru'uyin, but if it could have been a korban Pesach, meaning it was a male and it was less than a year old, and it was a sheep or a goat, and it didn't have any mumin, and it was healthy, and all's good. So in that case, if the only issue that is that it was supposed to be another korban, so Rabbi Eliezer mechayev chatas, Rabbi Eliezer still says you chayev chatas, and Rabbi Yeshua is paiter. Rabbi Yeshua says no, you are not liable for a chatas there. You are engaged in the mitzvah. You might have messed up, and we'll see all of the different differentiations within the shita of Rabbi Yeshua throughout this Amud. Says the Gemara as follows: Man tana deshani bein ru'in l'she'enon ru'in. Who is the tana that differentiates between whether it is roy or not? Whose opinion is it? That's going to say whether roy is a determining factor. Says the Gemara Rabbi Shimon here. This is the opinion of Rabbi Shimon. The Tanya. The Bryce tells us as follows: both zvachim that are roy, that are good to be used as a korban pesach, and zvachim that are not roy to be used as a korban pesach, and also one who shechted for the imurim of a tzibur, some other korban, pater. In all of these cases, you're pater divrei Meir. This is the most lenient opinion, the opinion of Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Shimon says, Rabbi Shimon, not so. Lo nechleku Rabbi Eliezer, Rabbi Yeshua, who were earlier generations of Tanai. Lo nechleku Rabbi Eliezer, Rabbi Yeshua, al she'enim ru'in. They didn't ever disagree about the case of einam ru'in shechayev. Everybody agrees that it's not right. If it could never be used as a korban pesach, even Rabbi Yeshua is going to agree that you are going to be chayev there. Al ma nechleku. Where was the disagreement? Al haru'in. In the case that it was right, it could have been used as a korban pesach. Rabbi Eliezer mechayev chatas. Rabbi Eliezer says you are chayev chatas for that. Rabbi Yeshua paiter. Rabbi Yeshua says no, you're off the hook. You could have. It's an honest mistake, and you are pater. Amar Rav Bibi. Amar Rav Elazar says Rav Bibi, not Israeli politics, Bibi, but Rav Bibi in the Gemara. Amar Rav Bibi. Amar Rabbi Elazar says Rav Bibi in the name of Rabbi Elazar. Partay Rabbi Meir afilu egel shel zivcha shlam sheshachal l'shum pesach. Such an extreme opinion that Rav Meir would be makel to say that you're a potter. You don't have to bring a korban chatas, even if you were to have shechted an egel, a calf, shel zivcha shlamim, that you were planning on bringing as a shlamim, sheshachal l'shum pesach, that you shechted for the sake of a korban pesach. Now, how you got away with that? Apparently, in the Beis Hamikdash, there's so many korbanos that are going on. You said, I'm shechting this l'shum pesach. And nobody said, don't do that. That's an egel. What are you talking about? And he did it. He did it. In such a case, says Rabbi Bibi in the name of Rabbi Elazar, that Rabbi Meir would say even in such a case should be pater. Amalei Rabbi Zela, Rabbi Bibi says Rabbi Zera to Rabbi Bibi. Vava Rabbi Yochanan, then Rabbi Yochanan teach us Moida Hayer Rabbi Meir B'Bali Mumin, that even Rabbi Meir agrees with the case of Bal Mum, meaning if you shechted an animal that was missing a leg as a korban pesach, so for sure you'd be chayiv there. So what's the difference between shechting a female or shechting a calf and shechting Bal Mum? Amarle says to him, nobody's even bringing a Bal Mum to the Beis Hamikdash. You're not in the parsha at all. You would never be mixed up involving a Bal Mum. It's not there. But this animal you are concerned with. Meaning you came up from the Golan to Yerushalayim. You have all your animals. You have kachim, and you have chulin, and you have korban pesach, and you have shlamim, and you have oilus, and you have chatas, and you have all of the animals that you have. Bali Mumin you don't have. Bal Mum you got rid of. You're not going to bring the Bal Mum to Yerushalayim. But once you're there, you can get mixed up, and you can end up bringing an egel to be a korban pesach. So by Rav Nachman. Rav asked Rav Nachman as follows: Chulin l'shum pesach Mali. What would Remeir say? The meaning Mali of Remeir. So with regards to chulin, that was never dedicated to be a korban at all. It was just an animal that came with. It's not a balmum, and it could have been declared as a korban pesach, but you didn't. You forgot to declare it as korban pesach. This is a mistake that I suppose we could see as eminently logical, especially according to the opinion of we saw a couple of dapim ago, according to Hillel, that Hillel ensured that there was never a case that anything went wrong in the Beis Hamikdash, because people would bring their korban as chulin and only dedicate it just before they shechted it. What happens if you forgot to dedicate it? You shechted it before dedication, so now it's just chulin. Mali, remember, what did Remeir say about such a case? Amarle says, Remeir would say you are potter in such a case, even if it would be chulin for the sake of a korban pesach. Now the Gemara challenges this. Rabbi Yochanan tell us, the Remeir agreed that a Bali Mumin, you are not off the hook for. That you should have known better. Says the Gemara, Bali Mumin lo michalfi. But a Bali Mumin you're never going to mix up with your flock. Hani michalfi. But these ones for sure you mix up. You have good kosher animals and you forgot which one, meaning you got confused. Which one was dedicated, which one wasn't. The time of the Remeir and the reason for Remeir. Now we're going to challenge, because we've seen two things here. We've seen Torrid, that he is confused. He's busy with a whole bunch of stuff and he's mixed up. And then we also saw what, even if you're not Torrid, even if you're not in such a rush, there's a question of his chalfi. Would we assume that you would get mixed up? It's possible to be mixed up, even if you are not in such a rush, you're not so confused. But it seems to me that the reason for Remeir in such a case is a question of whether or not you'd switch them up. So, but didn't Bibi in the name of Rabbi Lazar tell us that Remeir was potter you, not because you might have mixed them up, but mishum tarid, because sometimes there's just so much going on that it's easy to get confused, even on things that you wouldn't ordinarily get confused with. Meaning, is it the subjective jingle jangle rush that's going on around you? That's what's going to give you the permission to mess up, according to Remeir? Or is it that this is an easy mistake to make, that it's easy to switch these things out? So Amarle, said to him, Torrid, Afagav Delay Mechalef, Mechalef Afagav Delay Torrid. Both of them are true. We will be makel, or at least Remeir will be makel, if there's a lot going on around you, even if it's not something that you would assume that you'd switch around, and something that's easy to switch up, even if you're not Torrid. La fuke bale mumen. What does this all exclude? A bal mum. Because with the bal mum, you are not going to switch around an animal that's missing a leg with one that has all four, and you're not busy with them. You're not gonna have them mixed into the flock. Yosef Reb Zer. Sorry. Yosef Reb Zer. Reb Zer was sitting. Where Rabbi Shimon bar Rav Yitzchak, along with Rabbi Shimon bar Rav Yitzchak, Akil de Rabbi Shimon bar Rav Yitzchak, under the shade, the awning, like some kind of canopy of Rabbi Shimon bar Rav Yitzchak. And they were sitting and they were shmizing and learning. Amar Rabbi Shimon Lakish says Rabbi Shimon Lakish. What happens if you accidentally mixed up a kebab, shiput, meaning a skewer that has animal on it, that has meat on it, a kebab of noisar, of meat that was left over, that needs to be burnt. With a shiput of tzli, something that was roasted appropriately, that's supposed to be consumed. And you ate it. Chayev, you would be chayev in such a case, meaning chayev to bring a chatas. That's the din of Rabbi Shimon Lakish. Rabbi Yochanan Omar, and Rabbi Yochanan said, let's understand more concerns and considerations of getting mixed up. Rabbi Yochanan said, Ishta nida Baal, if you accidentally slept with your wife while she is in nida, chayiv, you'd be chayiv chatas. Yevimta nida Baal, if you accidentally slept with your Yevama, meaning not yours, your somebody's somebody's brother's wife, when the brother died childless, and the wife is now Zakili of him, and now you have to go. This fellow has to go and marry her. The way that he marries her is through bia, through sexual intercourse, through those relations, makes her the Yavam, meaning that completes the marriage. That's how the marriage is finished. Says Rabbi Yochanan, if one's wife is in nida and one engages in intimacy with her, you'd be chai v'chatas. If your Yavam is in nida and you engaged in intimacy with her, you'd be potter in such a case. And there are those that say, Kol Shekain, how much more so, with regards to the question of confusing the kebabs, Kol Shekain, obviously, Rabbi Yochanan would tell you that you would be chayiv in the case of confusing the kebabs. Delay as a mitzvah, because you didn't do a mitzvah at all. Meaning, there is a mitzvah of eating the basar of kachim. If you ate the basar of something else, not only did you not do a mitzvah, you did an avera. So there are those that say, though Rabbi Yochanan doesn't directly address this, that obviously would say that you're chayiv. Says the Gemara, Ista Amri, and there are those that say, Bahahi Potter, that in the case of the kebabs, he'd be potter completely. Meaning, what would Rabbi Yochanan say in such a case? We don't know. My timer, what's the rationale behind this? Hasam hud havle lishuli. With regards to one's wife, havle lishuli, he should have asked her. Meaning, the reason that he's chayiv there is because there's somebody to speak to. Aval hacha, but yeah, the loy havle lishuli. Loy. But here, where you can't ask the kebab, are you noiser, are you tzri? Can I eat you or can I not? So you made a mistake. It's not a mistake. You were trying to do a mitzvah. You messed up. In such a case, maybe in such a case, even Rabbi Yochanan would agree that it would be potter. You wouldn't have to bring a korban. But Rabbi Yochanan ma'ishna. Now let's analyze this. Rabbi Yochanan ma'ishna yevimtai dekavid mitzvah ishtana bekavid mitzvah. But let's understand this. If Rabbi Yochanan is telling you that the reason that you're chayiv for intimacy with one's wife when she's a nida is you could have asked her and you made a mistake, you assumed that she wasn't a nida, and you engaged in intimacy with her. So, meaning, and that was not a mitzvah. And the reason that, with regards to your Yavama, this consideration, whether you ask her or you didn't ask her, seems to be that you're potter because you were doing a mitzvah. Because there was a mitzvah to get married to the Yavam, says the Gemara, is this really true? So, mitzvah. With regards to your wife, you're also doing a mitzvah. There is a mitzvah. What's the mitzvah? Says Rashi here, the mitzvah is puravu, pirivya. There is a mitzvah of procreation. Says the Gemara, no, bi'ishta meuberes, that we are talking about a man whose wife is already pregnant, meaning you can't become more pregnant. You're either pregnant or you're not. She's already pregnant. Now, this is important. This is a dead giveaway. The Gemara is saying that it is possible for a woman, even when she is pregnant, to be a nida. That's possible. A woman can have some kind of flow, even if she is pregnant. Sometimes that is dangerous. Sometimes that is safe. Speak to your doctors about that. But it's certainly possible for a woman to be a nida, even if she is pregnant. Says the Gemara, okay, fine. Let's say that she is pregnant, and that's what we're talking about. But isn't there another mitzvah called simchas oina? A man is obligated to be mesamech his wife through physical intimacy. That's also a mitzvah. That's written up in the Ksuba. Says the Gemara, yeah, this is shalei b'shas anasa. This is not at the time that it is normative to expect that he would be intimate with her. And this is a long discussion that the Gemara has in Maseches Ksuvas, that there are certain professions where the normative expectation of how much physical intimacy varies from profession to profession. This is shalei b'shas anasa. She has no expectation of this. Says the Gemara, didn't Rava say, didn't Rava say that even if it's not the appointed time, that if a person's wife is interested in physical intimacy, that he's obligated to engage in that with her? Says the Gemara, no, this must have been Samach Levesta. It was very close to the time that she knew that she was going to be becoming a Nida. And in such a case, there is no mitzvah to engage with her in any kind of physical intimacy. Says the Gemara, Ihachi, okay, if this is so, if that's the Okimta, then we're talking about a case where Rabbi Yochanan is going to say that a person that is with his wife when she is a Nida, and he should have asked her, and he didn't ask her, he's going to be chayiv because it was samach levesta. That's the whole Okimta here. There was no mitzvah for him to do. Ihachi, if that's so, I feel even tanami. Then with regards to his Yavama as well, meaning his Yavama, if it's close to her Vesas, then he shouldn't be marrying her at that point in time either. Says the Gemara, yeah, but with your Yavama, you can't have the same kind of conversation. With your sister-in-law that you're about to marry, so your Vimta buzzes Mina. With your Yavama, you're embarrassed to say, yeah, whereabout are you in your cycle? Ishta loy buzzes Mina. With regards to one's wife, one is not so concerned of saying, whereabout are you in your cycle? And therefore, that would be the differentiation. Says the Gemara as follows. Okay, fine. Rabbi Yochanan Kaman. Who does Rabbi Yochanan hold like? Bichla. Meaning, Rabbi Yochanan has told us so far that in the case that you are doing a mitzvah, you are let off the hook for doing an avera. So who does he hold like? If you say that he holds like Rabbi Yossi, what did Rabbi Yossi say? Rabbi Yossi teaches us Yom Tov Rishon Shel Chag Shechalius b'Shabbos. First day of Sukkot falls out on a Shabbos. And you accidentally took out your lulav to the public domain. Meaning, the Gemara tells us, Chazal tell us, not to shake lulav on the first day of Sukkot. You forgot that it was Shabbos. You forgot, and you took it out. You took it out to the Rosh Hashanah. Says Rabbi Yossi, Potter, you're exempt here. Why? Because you took it out with permission. You thought you were doing a mitzvah. You didn't realize. You didn't remember that this was Shabbos, and the Chachamim said, "Don't take lulav lesser on Shabbos." Says the Gemara, no, maybe that's not how Rabbi Yochanan holds. Shani Hasa, maybe there it's different. Why? There's one a bowl because time is of the essence. Because he wakes up in the morning, I got to go and check lulav lesser today. It's a mitzvah midnat Torah. I'm going to go check lulav lesser, and therefore, since the Zmano is Baal, maybe that's why Rabbi Yossi says that you are going to be part of there. It's not just because of the mitzvah. Rabbi Yeshua, maybe he holds like the opinion of Rabbi Yeshua with regards to the Zvachim. What we saw in the Mishnah, meaning that you are planning on you are planning on offering your Korban Pesach as other Zvachim. Other Zvachim as your Korban Pesach. Dilma Hasanami is Manabahal. I would say no. Maybe the reason that Rabbi Yeshua says that you're part of that is not just because of the mitzvah; it's because of Manabahal. We give you a get out of Chatas free card because we assume that you are confused because you're in a hurry. Ve'elok Rabbi Yeshua the Tilakas. Maybe we're talking about the din of Rabbi Yeshua of Tilakas, what we saw before. That Rabbi Yeshua says that you're off the hook for a Chatas if you accidentally gave a bris milah to a baby that should get a bris milah. Should have got a bris milah yesterday, but you give it to him today. So you're confused. You should be giving a bris milah today, but you gave it to the wrong baby. So Hasam Nami, there also is Manabahal. Time is also of the essence. Time is ticking. You want to make sure that you get it done. Ve'elok Rabbi Yeshua de Truma. Maybe it's the opinion of Rabbi Yeshua with regards to Truma. Where's this opinion of Rabbi Yeshua with regards to Truma? We haven't seen it yet. Says the Gemara. We have Mishnah. Haya oichel b'truma. If you have a kohen that was eating truma, and all of a sudden he finds out that he is the son of a divorcee or the son of a chalutz. His mother had chalitza instead of yibum. He had chalitza. So this is a terrible thing to find out in the middle of lunch. What are you supposed to do in such a case? Says the Gemara, Rabbi Eliezer mechayev keren v'chomish. Rabbi Eliezer says you are chayev to pay back the principal amount, the keren of the truma, v'chomish, and the additional fifth, right? The additional 20 and or 25%, depending on how you hold the chomish. And Rabbi Shua says you're pater. You're pater completely. You were in the middle of doing a mitzvah. At least you thought you were doing a mitzvah. Dilma, maybe. So that would be the opinion of Rabbi Yeshua with regards to truma. Says the Gemara, Well, hold on a second. Maybe this is like the opinion of Rav Bibi Barabaya. Rav Bibi Barabaya, B'Truma Erev Pesach. That we are not talking about regular kohen eating truma. We're talking about truma on Erev Pesach. This is not a bowl. That time is ticking. Yeah, big time is ticking. You have to finish this up before the end of Chametz time. And that's the akimta of that Mishnah, in which case we still don't have a Tanaitic authority that Rabbi Yochanan is hinging himself on. That just with the davar mitzvah, you're off the hook. Says the Gemara, Inami, alternatively, Shani Truma. Truma is different. Truma is different from everything else. The Ikri Avoida, because Truma is called an Avoida. Va'avoida, it's called service. Service of the Beis Hamikdash. Va'avoida Rachmana Achsher. And Avoida, the Torah says is kosher. Meaning, the Torah is going to make it kosher, even if it's not so kosher. Titlan, we have a Mishnah that says, that you have a kohen that's in the middle of bringing a korban. And he finds out that he's a ben grusha, he's a ben chalutza, that his yichus is messed up. All of the korbanos that he brought on the mizbeach are all going to be puzzle. You have to redo all of it. It's puzzle. Rabbi Yeshua Makshir, and Rabbi Yeshua says, no, you're kosher. And we said, my time with Rabbi Yeshua, what is the rationale behind Rabbi Yeshua? The pasuk says, beautiful Josh on the pasuk, Beirach Hashem cheloi upal yadav tirtzah. That Hashem blesses his chel. What is chel here? So Rashi here says, this is the pasuk that Moshe Rabbeinu blesses Shevet Levi. Baruch Hashem cheloi. Says Rashi, cheloi means bekahanim ksiv. This is talking about the kahanim. Yasim Torah be'apecha. He's going to put ketaris be'apecha in your nose. V'samach le'barich Hashem cheloi. Cheloi means chalalim shebai. Even the chalalim, even those that all of a sudden found out that they're chalalim, that they are apostle the kahuna, if they found out about that after having done the avoda, barich Hashem cheloi. It's a din midaraisa that Kodesh Baruch Hu says it still works because the end of the pasuk says upal yadav tirtzah. Kodesh Baruch Hu still wants, still desires the work of his hands. Okay, good. But where do you find that truma is called an avoda? We know that this is truma and avoda, but the Mishnah that we're trying to connect Rabbi Yochanan's opinion to is talking about truma, not talking about being makar of the mizbech. The Tanya, we have a brisa of Rabbi Tarfon Shalom Beis Hamedrash. There was a story of Rabbi Tarfon that didn't come to the Beis Hamedrash yesterday. Meaning, the story is taking place today, and yesterday he didn't show up. Rabbi Gamliel found him the next morning. Marla, he says, why didn't you show up yesterday to come and learn? Marla, he says to him, I was doing the avodah. Marla, he says to him, everything that you're saying is astounding. What are you possibly talking about? Where would you have avodah to do? Bizman hazeh. The Beis Hamikdash is destroyed. What are we supposed to do? Marla, he says, but does it not say? Pasuk tells us, avodas matana etein es kuhunaschem. There's an avodah of giving, of a gift. I'm giving as your kehuna. V'azara kariv you must. And a non-kohen who comes close is going to be put to death. It's pasuk in Bamidbar. Says Rabbi Tarfon, also achilas truma b'gvulin ka'avodas beis hamikdash, that we've made the achila of truma in the gvulin, meaning outside of the beis hamikdash, ka'avodas beis hamikdash, like the avodah inside of the beis hamikdash, and therefore we have a lot of options of what might be the Tanakh source for Rabbi Yochanan, but none of them are ironclad, meaning none of them have to be read that way. To be continued tomorrow. Hoping everybody had a wonderful day. We are almost at the end of the parak. Looking forward to finishing up soon.